For decades, the standard of care for severe hyponatremia has been slow and steady correction. This explainer looks at new evidence that questions this approach, weighing the risk of demyelination against a potential mortality benefit. Here's our plan. We'll look at the clinical dilemma, the framework used for the analysis, the core findings on mortality and demyelination, we'll evaluate the evidence itself, and then get to the clinical takeaway. Let's start with this central issue, the long-held practice of cautious sodium correction. The fundamental question is whether slow correction is truly the safest path. Conventional wisdom has always said yes, primarily to avoid one specific serious complication. That concern is osmotic demyelination syndrome, or ODS. The fear of causing ODS has been the main driver behind conservative treatment guidelines for years. So, to investigate this, a recent meta-analysis used a clear structure to frame its question. Let's look at that framework. The analysis specifically looked at hospitalized adults with severe hyponatremia. This was defined as a serum sodium level below 120 milliequivalents per liter or below 125 if the patient had severe symptoms. Using the PICO framework, the patient population was those adults with severe hyponatremia. The intervention was rapid sodium correction, that's more than 8 to 12 milliequivalents per liter in 24 hours. This was compared to slow correction, and the outcomes they measured were mortality and the rate of ODS. Now for the findings. This is where the long-held assumptions are challenged. This wasn't a small analysis. It included data from over 12,000 patients, pulled from 16 different studies. That provides a lot of statistical power, particularly for mortality outcomes. And here's the headline finding. A faster rate of sodium correction was linked to a significant reduction in death, both in the hospital and at 30 days. So what about the risk of ODS? It was extremely low. Across all groups, no matter the speed of correction, the highest rate of ODS was less than 0.3%. When you compare them directly, the results are pretty clear. Rapid correction was tied to reduced mortality. Slow correction was tied to higher mortality. And for the risk of ODS, there was no significant difference between the two approaches. There was also a secondary finding. Rapid correction was linked to a shorter length of stay in the hospital. Okay, so we have these findings, but how strong is the evidence? Let's look at the strengths and limitations. The major strength here is the large sample size, which gives the mortality outcome a lot of weight. The main limitation, however, is that this is based on observational studies, not randomized controlled trials or RCTs. This means there's a high risk for confounding by indication. Because of that, the overall evidence-based medicine, or EBM, rating is moderate. The effect on mortality is significant, but the non-randomized design of the studies tempers the overall certainty. So what does this all mean for clinical practice? The main takeaway is that our current guidelines for correcting sodium may be too conservative. This quote really captures the essence of the findings. The risk of death from correcting too slowly might actually be greater than the risk of ODS from correcting more quickly. This leaves us with a critical question to consider in our own practice. Should our fear of a rare complication continue to guide therapy when there's growing evidence of a real mortality benefit to a faster approach?